So what's wrong with Ohio State's defense? I'm Stephen Means, that's Stefan Krajisnik, and that's Andrew Gillis. We talked with Ryan Day, Jim Knowles as well ahead of Ohio State's game against Iowa, and it just felt like we were being nitpicky. Or were we being nitpicky? Jim Knowles doesn't care. He says he's been more than nitpicked in his life. His father was a Philly cop. He's been nitwhacked. So this is nothing for him. But there were some legitimate questions today, Stefan, about the defense. What of the things? Let's start with the linebackers. What did he have to say about the linebacker play so far through 4 games?
Well, he definitely feels like it can be improved, and I think a core of kind of what he was talking about was he felt like, Sonny Styles, I think he more so was kind of reminding us like, hey, Sonny Styles is still kind of learning this whole thing, and there's going to be some growing pains, but he feels like he's on, I can't remember the exact phrase that he used, but on the right track, on a kind of a expedited track to where he needs to be. So it seems like he's still got confidence in the linebackers, and that group as a whole, which I think is promising because that's a group that, especially after the Michigan State game, we were asking some questions about. So it seems like he's got confidence that linebacking group can kind of, do the things they need to do and make the adjustments they need to make moving forward.
He called it an accelerated development. And the example that was used was Malcolm Rodriguez, who obviously had to undergo the same type of development when Jim Knowles was at Oklahoma State, going from safety to linebacker. And now he's a linebacker for the Detroit Lions, which, again, there was a lot of Detroit Lions references during Ohio State's press conference on Tuesday. But the difference is he said that Malcolm Rodriguez was on top of his game by year 3. At Ohio State, you can't wait for year 3. There's no time for that. You have to accelerate that process, and that's what Sonny Styles is going through. But also, he's playing all 3 linebacker positions for a guy who was a safety 9 months ago. So maybe it's just, I don't know, let's be patient. Nitpick number 1. Andrew, I want to talk about the cornerbacks. I asked about it, but it just seems like they're playing a lot of off coverage, and we haven't necessarily seen some aggression from the cornerbacks. What did Jim Knowles have to say about that?
Well, it depends on the coverage. It depends on, who you're playing. It depends on the down and distance. He kind of, talked about it in a way of there's a lot that goes into it. I think one of his quotes during his press conference today, I'm not sure if this was related, but I think it ties in, was there's 1,000 permutations. There's 1,000 things that could happen. So, there's a lot of different things that go into that. So for me, I looked at the off coverage against Michigan State as we're going to play some zone because we're playing a quarterback that can run, and we don't want to get caught in a man-to-man situation. So I'm not looking at that as a long-term problem of him saying, oh man, like what are they just going to have them play off every game? No, I don't think that's going to be the case. He said certainly you look at it, certainly you kind of evaluate those things, but I don't think that that's something that they are going to stick with long-term. As you talk about, I was watching one of the plays with one of the other writers when we were waiting for the press conference. We were looking at the touchdown that Michigan State scored. Davison Igbinosun was like 7 or 8 yards off the ball, and we were saying, why was he so far back? I don't know if that's a problem. I don't think that that's anything that people really need to get their Irish up right now over. So we'll see over the next couple of weeks. I mean, maybe it continues against Iowa and Oregon, and then we're saying, okay, do they not trust the corners? What's going on here? But for now, he kind of gave a coach speak answer, and I don't think it's a problem either.
You said they also, need to play more press man coverage. Very single answer from both of you guys. We're 4 games in. Ohio State leads the nation in points allowed per game. They're second in the nation in yards per play. And I think there was another stat that got pointed out today where Ohio State's number 1 on defense, and Jim Knowles said, stop mentioning that stuff. Get out. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it right now. He brought up Nick Saban, rat poison. Are we nitpicking the defense, yes or no, Stefan?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
I think we're nitpicking the defense. I also think some of the nitpicking is justified because there's about to be a tougher schedule coming forward. And Ryan Day said this. They're kind of done with the rotating, playing depth, getting guys snaps. They're going to play the best players this week. They're going to play the best players next week because now they're into that part of the schedule where they're playing some matchup games. I'm Steven. He's Andrew. He's Stefan. Get the text 614-350-3315. And we'll continue to have this conversation on Buckeye Talk. So go find that wherever you listen to podcasts. Go listen to Buckeye Talk. See you later.